This week is Road Safety Week, but figures from the Department of Transport show the number of accidents involving cyclists was up 12% in the first 6 months of the year, with 230 cyclists a month being killed or seriously injured on the roads. Now the industry body for the insurers, the ABI, says there's a growing case for all cyclists to have third-party and accident cover. Malin Saeed reports.
Pepe Tozo ended up in hospital after colliding with a car while cycling home from work in South Wales. Although it was years ago, the memories of the accident are still with him.
I remember riding down a hill towards a junction on the left, and just as I approached it, a transit a van turned right in front of me from the other side of the road, and I went straight into the side of it.
The driver of the car that hit Pepe didn't have a driving licence or insurance, and with no personal injury or legal cover himself, the costs were soon spiralling out of control.
It was a week in hospital, about 8 weeks in plaster on my left leg, 3 months off work, and certainly about a year getting my leg back to some semblance of normality.
It's not compulsory for cyclists to have insurance, but cycle use has grown 20% since the 1990s, and that's also resulted in a rise in the number of accidents involving cyclists. And so it seems there's more cause for cyclists to have cover for things like personal injury and third-party insurance.
Oh, right, yes.
But many cyclists don't have this kind of protection. Yeah. The London Cycling Campaign Group says many think they're fully covered by their household content policies, but these don't always go far enough.
Household insurances are general insurances. They don't provide the specialist cover that you might need, whether it's for theft or for third party. So if you go to a specialist insurer or to a cycling organisation to get that sort of cover specifically aimed at cycling, well, that's what that policy is designed for.
The industry body, the Association of British Insurers, says cyclists often underestimate the risks they face when they're on the roads, in particular if they're in an accident where they're found to be at fault themselves.
You, in theory, could be sued for damages, and that can run into hundreds of pounds, it can be thousands of pounds, it could be tens, even hundreds of thousands of pounds, which you're probably not going to have. I think that for no other reason, if you're a cyclist, you should always have some form of liability insurance. It's essential.
But although cyclists may be more vulnerable on the roads, statistically they're less likely to be responsible for an accident than a motorist, and that's reflected in the premiums. A specialist policy can cost as little as £30 to £40 a year. After the accident, Pepe became a member of a cycling club and now has full cover. With a bill from his last accident adding expense to injury, it's a risk he won't be taking again. Marlene Saeed, BBC News.